Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho.
I now think that Jadon Sancho should never play for Manchester United again.
I'm tired of the excuses, Sancho again today. Where were you today, Sancho?
Once upon a time, Jadon Sancho was the most promising young player in the world. In the eyes of the media, England had found their new superstar to shoot them to success. But in the last couple of years, he's a complete shell of his former self. Jadon Sancho's career at Manchester United has been extremely lackluster. When United paid $87 million, there was an expectation of a real superstar. But his time at United, Sancho has looked scared, slow, and overall, you can consider him a flop. A couple of years ago, when I thought of Jadon Sancho, the word brave would pop in my head. Sancho was really the first English player to leave academy football as a top prospect in order to find first team football. Leaving Manchester City's academy under Pep because he thought he was good enough to play week in and week out was extremely admirable, especially as a teenager. At Borussia Dortmund, he took over the world. The media were calling him the new Neymar for his skills, tricks, and dribbling, but I think his best aspect of his game was his passing and creative ability. His ability to beat defenders with ease with a simple 1-2 or beat them with pure skill, he was a joy to watch. Sancho was the youngest ever Dortmund player to score at least 10 goals in a single campaign. In his first year at Borussia Dortmund, he scored 12 goals and provided 14 assists, and Sancho was named into the 2018-2019 Bundesliga Team of the Season at the age of 19. The following season was even better, where Sancho got 20 goals and 20 assists in 44 games. Watching Sancho, he was such a brilliant footballer beyond his ages. His ability to play these perfect passes to cut the back line was remarkable. Jadon Sancho was the new kid on the block and all the European teams wanted him. He ended up staying at Borussia Dortmund for one more year, ending his last campaign with 16 goals and 20 assists in 38 games. And even winning a Pokal final with him scoring 2 goals in the final. Overall, his time at Borussia Dortmund was a huge success, with him getting 50 goals and 64 assists. If you look at these stats, Sancho wasn't just the best young player, but he was going head to head with the best players in the world in terms of goals and assists. Jadon Sancho ended up going to Manchester United, where everything would crumble. He came into a United side that was going through the worst period of their club's history. Oli got sacked, players were playing poorly, dressing room leaks to the media. Overall, that season as a whole was bad for United. Even though Jadon Sancho had 3 goals and 3 assists in his first season, he showed moments that he had the dribbling and creative spark in his locker. Overall, it was a very poor season for Manchester United. Sancho showed some glimpse that he possessed that superstar ability, and now with Erik ten Hag coming in, he definitely could help Sancho reach that next level. Sancho started the season quite well, scoring a beautiful goal against Liverpool and scoring against Leicester. Erik ten Hag signed his former star boy Anthony for around £90 million, which could indicate that Sancho wasn't in the future plans. Nonetheless, the season continued and Sancho started to put in poor performances, where he ended up not getting called up to the World Cup squad. Sancho got clowned heavily. Even an airline company was making fun of him. Like, how does Sancho have beef with the airline company? Sancho ended up blacking out his IG and going ghost, and I don't blame him. Imagine millions of people laughing at your downfall. Mentally, that must be a hard thing to go through. Reports broke that Jadon Sancho was training away from the team in order to focus on his physical and mental health in Holland with Erik ten Hag's associates. He was gone for a couple of months and came back with a standing ovation at Old Trafford. And in his first Premier League game back, he scored a crucial goal to earn them a point against Leeds United. Sometimes he had an odd, good game, but overall, Sancho coming back, he was still not the same player we all imagined when he first signed for the club. When he was away, a young, fearless 18-year-old Garnacho took United by storm and honestly showed shades of old Sancho we all fell in love with. That young, cocky, fearless winger. Garnacho was a skillful, fast winger that wanted to beat his man every time he got the ball out wide. He was fearless and consistently proving a point every time he played. Sancho, on the other hand, just did the basics: pass and move, no intensity, hiding for moments, and overall just going through the motion. Lias on SDS podcast stated the following about Sancho, and I honestly agree 100% with him.
I think he's getting away with murder, right? I think the thing with Sancho is that his bad performances aren't very loud. You don't really notice him because he doesn't take many risks. He's not like Rashford's bad performances like stare you in the face. Yes. He takes a lot of risks. He loses the ball a lot. He makes dumb decisions. Shots, yeah. Sancho's bad games are literally him wiggling on the ball a bit and then passing it back to Malacia. He has games where he has absolutely no impact whatsoever. Sancho was supposed to be the long-term right winger at Man United. A year in, we ditched the experiment because he wasn't good enough. He's under major scrutiny this year. Major scrutiny.
Jadon Sancho right now playing football is like he's scared of taking risks. He's not aggressive enough at all. It's almost like he's hiding in these games, and when you pay big money for a player like him, you want him on the ball 24/7, grabbing the game by the neck. In this part of the video, I want to compare Jadon Sancho to his best friend Reiss Nelson, this new and improved Reiss Nelson. In terms of play style, they're both identically the same. Look at how Reiss Nelson stands his defender up, running at him and then suddenly change direction to beat his man. Here's another example of Reece Nelson running at his defender, trying to get him off balance to beat him. And I'm not saying Reece Nelson is better than Jadon Sancho at all. Matter of fact, Reece would do the same exact thing as Sancho. He would do a couple body feints and play the safe pass back. The thing that changed for Reece Nelson is that he became more brave due to his confidence level being at an all-time high, because Arteta started to use him more often, and Arteta gave him that trust that player desperately needed. Obviously, Jadon Sancho is an excellent player. It's not rocket science. I believe Sancho is just very low on confidence, and overall his time at United has been a roller coaster of emotions, from a personal level to the club having their own issues as a whole. With the likes of Rashford, Anthony, and Garnacho, and even maybe Ahmad ahead of him in the pecking order for wingers, and the report saying that Erik ten Hag wants to sell him for profit, I think Sancho's best career move is to leave United and look for a club that philosophy is based on possession. Sancho will not make darting runs in behind or beat his defender for pure pace. He will come short and use his intelligent IQ to create opportunities by manipulating the ball. He's a creative winger best suited for more possession-based systems. Sancho's big move hasn't set the world on fire, but he isn't the first player to come United and not live up to expectations. I think there's a real player in Jadon Sancho, but I believe he needs to take control of his career and go to a club that fits his play style. Now, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts on Jadon Sancho, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.